Today I will talk about 5 products that many people consider harmful completely in vain. Perhaps you've heard some scary stories and have already excluded them from your diet. But not all myths have a real basis. In Tibetan medicine, we look at food comprehensively. Everything depends on the combination of products, on the person's dosha, and on the time and season of consumption. My name is Jimba Dansanov. I am a doctor of Tibetan medicine. And in this video, I will tell you about 5 products that are mistakenly considered harmful. The first product is potatoes. Potatoes are carbohydrates and starch. It is a very calorie-rich product. You only gain weight from it and get no benefits. But not everything is so straightforward. Potatoes are one of the best sources of potassium and vitamin C. And modern people often lack potassium. Potassium is concentrated inside cells. It ensures the stability of cell membrane charge potentials, participates in heart muscle contractions, provides muscle tone that allows blood vessels to contract, and is involved in regulating blood pressure. For many people, a lack of potassium can be the cause of hypertension. Potatoes are the most accessible, delicious, and filling product. Potatoes contain a lot of fiber. If you cool baked potatoes and eat them cold, they contain a lot of resistant starch. And resistant starch is an excellent feed for the microflora of our intestines. I prefer boiled or baked potatoes because this method of preparation preserves all the beneficial substances. Potatoes can be paired with vegetable salads, generally with vegetables. Sauerkraut works well, as does salted fish. For instance, I personally love salted herring with potatoes. It's very tasty. And I recommend it to you. But if you're trying to lose weight, don't eat potatoes for dinner. Not because potatoes are harmful, but because it is indeed a calorie-dense and filling product. And if you have a specific goal, such as losing weight, then it's better not to eat such a product in the evening. The second product is lard. Little is said about it. Yes, lard is saturated fat. Many believe that it's an unhealthy product, raises cholesterol, is harmful to blood vessels, and makes you gain weight. But not everything is so clear-cut. Lard is a source of saturated fat. But if viewed from the perspective of Tibetan medicine, it is a product of winter and spring. If people of the wind and phlegm constitutions eat lard in winter and spring for breakfast, it can provide significant benefits for them. It ignites the digestive fire for winds, which is very useful. It calms the wind, thereby warming. By igniting the digestive fire, it gives internal warmth. And for people with phlegm, since lard consists of saturated fats, it gives a quick feeling of fullness. That means after eating it, you don't want to eat any more, and it also provides a prolonged sense of satiety. You can easily last from breakfast until lunch. For example, if you had breakfast at 8 a.m., you can comfortably make it until 1 p.m. If your diet is balanced, meaning you consume as many calories as you expend, and you don't have issues with high cholesterol or atherosclerotic changes in the blood vessels, then you can eat lard. Of course, lard shouldn't be eaten every day. It should be consumed once or twice a week in small portions of 30 to 50 grams and mildly salted varieties. I want to emphasize one point particularly. When I talk about lard, I mean consuming pure lard. If you eat fried lard with eggs, that's harmful because you're combining 2 animal-based products rich in saturated fats. If you have high cholesterol, then you absolutely shouldn't consume it like that. But separately, for breakfast occasionally, it's fine. Also, lard is better not combined with fast carbohydrates, as they add a very high caloric content. The third product is bread. Bread is a traditional product in our country. And on YouTube, I've seen videos where they say such nonsense about bread, claiming it's a source of gluten, meaning fast carbohydrates, a product with a high glycemic index, containing nothing but calories and gluten. People always seem to scare everyone with this gluten. I have a video about bread and gluten where I explain gluten in detail. But now I'll touch on this topic a bit. First of all, I want to say that there are different types of bread, white bread and classic wheat loaf. Of course, White bread is made from refined white flour, which indeed has no beneficial properties, containing only gluten or glutenin, a sticky protein. And yes, empty calories, as everyone says. But there are other types of bread. These are yeast-free bread varieties, made from quality, unrefined flours. There is bread with bran and whole grain bread. This, in my opinion, is the healthiest bread. It contains B vitamins, various mineral salts that are beneficial for our health. Whole grain breads and bread without bran contain a lot of fiber, which are very beneficial for the microflora of our intestines, as they serve as food for bacteria. And bread is actually a very crucial product that saved many people from starvation. My grandfather's generation didn't just value bread. They revered it because my grandfather never threw away bread, because it was considered a bad omen. A little about gluten. Gluten is a sticky plant protein found in cereal grains. It's also called glutenin. 1% of people worldwide are intolerant to gluten, and this autoimmune disease is called celiac disease, and some people have increased sensitivity to gluten. These individuals experience bloating, discomfort when consuming gluten, and sometimes even skin conditions like eczema. But increased gluten sensitivity can be treated. You need to restore gut microbiota, and then you'll normally digest gluten. 1% of people cannot eat gluten, yet everyone gets scared. But even if you don't have a reaction to gluten, even if you eat white bread or a baguette, nothing will happen. It will simply be a source of empty calories. How do I recommend eating bread? And how do I eat bread myself? As we mentioned, all cereal products contain gluten. If gluten is consumed with fiber, its harm is minimal. That means it might not cause any harm at all, even to those who have gluten sensitivity. Not intolerance, but sensitivity. It's important to understand. I eat bread in the morning for breakfast in the form of various sandwiches, mainly eating bread with bran, or dark bread varieties, or most often whole grain bread. But if you can't imagine your life without bread, you can have it during the day, a little during the day. But if you don't have problems with weight and so on, you can have a little bread in the evening. We must always look at what our diet is, balanced or unbalanced. That is, we eat as many calories as we burn, or do we eat more calories overall? This is a crucial point. If our diet is balanced, then we can add bread as a product that also contains some calories. People don't gain weight from bread. People gain weight because their diet is unbalanced, meaning they eat more calories than they burn. The fourth product is coffee. Everyone's favorite drink, yet many say it's an unhealthy product. Harmful to the stomach, liver, increases blood pressure, burns the nervous system, and generally leads to a state of anxiety, restlessness, and so on. However, as with any product, there are nuances. As I say, there are no absolutely beneficial products and no absolutely harmful ones. Everything needs to be considered in the context of nutrition. What's the real deal with coffee? I recently reviewed studies conducted in China. I'll leave the results in the link in the description. They indicate that moderate coffee consumption, which is 300 to 350 milligrams, equivalent to 3 to 4 cups of coffee per day, is not only safe but also beneficial for our health. Daily moderate consumption of coffee and caffeine-containing drinks, such as black tea and green tea, not only doesn't harm our health, but is also beneficial for the cardiovascular system, liver health, as caffeine is a cholagogue. Therefore, it cleanses the liver well and is generally good for overall health. As we've understood, the question lies in the moderate consumption of coffee, not that it's harmful. I always say that you shouldn't consume coffee on an empty stomach in the morning, especially with a cigarette. And coffee shouldn't be consumed as an energy drink, neglecting food and living on coffee alone. That, of course, is harmful, and you also need to consider individual characteristics of your body. Some people react to coffee. They experience slight anxiety, accelerated heart rate, and so on. These individuals simply have such an individual reaction to coffee. But even these people, if they gradually consume small amounts of coffee and learn how to consume it, These reactions will disappear, and they will adapt to this beverage. The fifth product is butter. People also say that butter is pure cholesterol, that it causes atherosclerosis, and that you also gain weight from it. But butter is one of the main products in any family in our country. Yes, butter contains a lot of fat, 80 to 85% saturated fat. It contains vitamins A, E, B12, K, and conjugated linoleic acid and butyric acid, which are very beneficial for our health. Butter is a very calorie-dense product, a source of saturated fats causing quick and long-lasting satiety. Thus, people stop eating a lot of carbohydrates, especially fast ones. If you consume butter for breakfast, you'll easily make it to lunchtime. And these intervals between meals will be easy to endure. For example, butter for breakfast, some animal fat proteins for lunch, and no carbs for dinner, just vegetables and some low-fat proteins. In Tibetan medicine, butter is considered a good product for people of the wind constitution because they suffer from weakened digestive fire. And butter, it ignites the digestive fire and helps wind-type people feel internal warmth and energy. For those who fry with butter, I wouldn't recommend doing so. It's better to fry with clarified butter. Many complain about store-bought butter. Yes, there's a reason for that, but I myself try to buy farm butter at the market. I recommend you do the same, but if you can't, it's no reason to give up butter altogether. As I repeat again, I always say that there are no absolutely harmful products and no absolutely beneficial ones. It's all about combinations and with the balance of daily nutrition. That is, we should consume as many calories as we expend. If we want to lose weight, then less. And which products we use to get these calories is a secondary question. And friends, most importantly, moderation is key in everything. Stay healthy.